Griffith was born as an orphan with no honor, but he desperately wished to rule his own kingdom. As he grew in age, so did his ambitions, leading him to start the mercenary group by the name of the Band of the Hawk. They were like family to him, and with his leadership, they remained undefeated. But the more successful they were, the more renown they would obtain. The more renown they would obtain, the closer Griffith got to achieving his goals. The closer Griffith got to achieving his goals, the more he was willing to sacrifice in order to get them. Nothing was more important to him, and one day he proved that by making the ultimate sacrifice. On the night of an eclipse, Griffith killed every single member of the Band of the Hawk. They were necessary sacrifices in order for him to ascend into godhood, turning him into femto, finally allowing him to start his own kingdom of Falconia. Griffith's ambition not only cost him his family, but also his humanity, and he would go down as one of the most evil characters in fictional history. But I don't think that's a fair label to place on him. Let me explain. My channel is all about figuring out how to make more money online. And because of that, I am well aware that I will be attracting highly ambitious people. So I feel like it is my duty to talk about the dark side of ambition, because everybody loves the idea of being more ambitious, but nobody talks about its dark side. Haven't you noticed that the more successful somebody is, the more likely they are to be extremely corrupt? There's a reason for that. You see, the same thing that fuels someone to rise to the peaks of their field is the same thing that feeds these darker tendencies, and that's their ambition. I don't believe that Griffith was ever truly evil. I believe that Griffith was a perfect caricature of what happens when somebody doesn't learn how to put checks and balances on their ambition, ultimately allowing it to consume them, turning them into a monster. So I'm making this video in order to make you aware of this dark side of your ambition so that doesn't happen to you. I call it ambition's curse. The main aspect of ambition's curse is an unrelenting need for more. You'll never be completely satisfied with anything you do. The more progress you make, the further you'll push your own goalpost. Speaking from my own experience of this, when I was homeless, all I wanted was to make enough to afford an apartment. As soon as I got the apartment, I wanted to make $100,000 a year. As soon as I crossed 100K a year, I wanted to make 10K a month. And now that I'm past 10K a month, all I want is to get to 100,000 a month. The goalpost keeps moving. Your ambition will take you out of one rat race and put you in another. But there's a solution to this, and that is to create a cutoff point. You need to sit down and ask yourself, at what point will I be truly satisfied? Depending on how ambitious you are either going to have an exact goal at which you already know what you have to attain, or you're going to feel like you'll never be satisfied. If you feel like you'll never be satisfied, what you need to do is to think about what you genuinely feel like you'd be able to achieve in your life. 10x it and place your cutoff point there. I'll use myself as an example. I know that I'm going to be a millionaire. There's a high probability of me reaching $10 million. I think that if I work my ass off enough for long enough, there's a 5% chance that I'll reach $100 million. $100 million is at the edge of what I genuinely think I'd be able to achieve in my lifetime. So my cutoff point is 1 billion. I know that you're asking yourself why my cutoff point isn't 100 million. Let me explain. Because I am aware of my insatiable nature, I know that because I think I can reach 100 million, as soon as I get there, I'm going to want more. But 1 billion is so far outside of what I think I'm actually able to achieve that if I ever got there, I would have surpassed my own expectations of myself by such a vast amount that I genuinely think that I'd be satisfied with my efforts. Another aspect of ambition's curse is complete isolation. There's a very particular type of individual that becomes extremely ambitious, and that's the outcast. That's the person that never truly fit in. Nobody ever paid attention to them. It's the person with something to prove. It really doesn't matter how you get this chip on your shoulder. What's important is that it's there. And this chip fuels very antisocial thought patterns. This is because you start creating a me versus the world mentality. You start to think that people are against you. You stop caring about the majority of the things that other people can relate to. Your only concern becomes furthering your goals, becoming more and more indifferent to everything outside of that. This ultimately makes it very hard to build meaningful relationships. I honestly have not found a solution to this yet, as I am not a master. I am just somebody that's a level or two ahead of you. Personally, there was a period in time where I tried to play pretend. I tried acting quote unquote Neiman, but all that did was make me more and more miserable. The idea of putting my attention to anything outside of my purpose depresses me. But not doing so and not forming these vital relationships, I guess, makes me feel like I'm living life behind a glass wall. I can see everyone, I can hear what everybody's talking about, but I can never truly step through and make any genuine connections. And for the brief amount of times that I am able to step through, I feel even more isolated than when I did before, simply because I don't relate to anyone. The last aspect of ambition's curse that I want to talk about today is what I like to call the devil on your shoulder. And for this, I'll have to point at the relationship between Andrew and Fletcher from the movie Whiplash. Without revealing too much of the plot, Andrew was a highly ambitious drummer. And at the start of the movie, he states that he could not imagine a reality where he doesn't go down as one of the greatest drummers of all time. This leads him to join a highly prestigious music school in which he meets Fletcher, his music instructor. The thing about Fletcher, though, is that he was a highly abusive teacher. He criticized every single mistake Andrew ever made, never complimenting him on anything he did right. This torment leads to Andrew developing a massive amount of anxiety towards music, which eventually prevents him from ever reaching his full potential. The reason why I bring this to your attention is because ambition's curse places a tiny little Fletcher on your shoulder, constantly criticizing you on every little mistake you ever will make, never allowing you to be fulfilled with anything other than perfect action. The thing is, this devil on your shoulder will have multiple negative effects on your personal and mental health. But the one thing that you cannot deny is that it's very effective at making you better. The constant pressure to excel becomes the driving force towards your dreams. The constant criticism makes you very good at figuring out all your mistakes and brainstorming about different ways you can correct them. So all this pressure is also why you get analysis paralysis. It's why you feel the constant urge to compare yourself to people you believe are better than you. It might mask itself as something that is beneficial to you, but the reality is that devil on your shoulder is formed out of your own fear of inadequacy. And when you combine that fear with an insatiable hunger and extreme amounts of social isolation, that's when things get dangerous. And over an extended period of time, this amalgamation of negativity is what eats away at your humanity. This is what turns you into femto. Unfortunately, this is not a feel-good video. Like I said before, I don't have the answers to everything, as I am only 1 or 2 levels ahead of you. There is no avoiding ambition's curse. Watch anything about any successful person ever, and they will describe some of the things that I just listed out. It might not be to the same degree, but all 3 of these things are always present. So I make this video not to discourage you, but to give you a heads up of things to come so that you are not blindsided the same way that I was. Prepare yourself, accept it as part of the journey that you've chosen to embark on. Some of you are going to be discouraged, while others are going to use this information to avoid certain pitfalls along the way. Either way, we keep moving forward. It's going to feel really dark and lonely for a really long time, but I have faith that it gets better on the other side. If you like this type of content, let me know in the comments. I typically try to stay away from things like this because it's not algorithmically intact, because there's no viral social hack or that I'm trying to do. I'm just talking about my experience and some of the things I think about, and I really don't know how this is going to perform, but I'm making an effort to be a lot more genuine and just be myself, because if I'm going to be doing this long time, I can't just chase the algorithm all day. So I don't know. Subscribe if you like this. Follow my Instagram. I need more clout. Bye, I guess.